Hi, just a bit difference on the name. I'm Varun. Mittal. I run Fintech Emerging Markets practice for EY. I used to run a startup myself before I joined EY. In 2016, we sold the company to Alipay. So I come from the non-consulting background, which is why I still don't have a jacket. So today we just want to share, next month we're going to bring a playbook for what does it take to have a successful fintech hub. And we have compiled best practices from 25 different emerging markets globally. And we'll just give a preview. So this is the first time globally we are giving a preview of this with a special focus on the best practices from different Middle East markets. Globally, we have seen how UK, Singapore, Hong Kong were defending hubs where they had strong financial services ecosystem. And now when the technology came, they took national initiatives with strong government funding. For example, Singapore had $225 million funding from the government to support fintech in Singapore for the regulator. And the fintech event in Singapore next month will have 40,000 people. That's more than Grand Prix. This year, there were more tourism awards for Fintech Festival in Singapore than F1 race. So it become a tourism mechanics more than just Fintech. And that's something which has happened there. And if we look at globally, it's become a national priority because financial services system is critical, whether it's for financial inclusion, whether it is for defending the economy when the recession comes, because the winter is not too far, and all regulators are conscious of that. They do not want too big to fail institutions, and they want more resilience in their industry. Europe has passed laws. Asia is nudging towards that without passing laws. The way we look at, there are 5 main pillars of our ecosystem: policy, demand, capital, talent, and the overall ecosystem. And this is a perfect example of what a vibrant ecosystem would look like. You have people from different competing financial institutions sitting on the same table and agreeing on how and what they need to do without conflict. And that is a vibrant ecosystem. And these kind of initiatives across the world will be covered in the playbook when it comes out. Here we'll give you some examples on demand. So what has been done on the demand side in different markets in the region. Dubai has created the DIFC hub, and they have their own initiatives there. Abu Dhabi has created their initiatives on KYC utility and distributed ledger. Very critical from there to look at is for industry to demand these solutions and for consumers to demand these solutions, the institutions have to create the enablers. So the basic enablers like KYC may not sound, okay, why is it needed for fintech? But if you do not have that, you cannot onboard customers. You cannot service customers. You cannot bring down the cost of servicing of customers. And these kind of initiatives are the building blocks. And as we've seen in India, India Stack changed the way how fintechs worked, because now anyone could onboard customers in 100 seconds. And these are some examples of how the demand generation was enabled across Middle East. In terms of regulation, we have representatives from all the 3 hubs which are on this with regards to regulatory sandboxes, with regard to experimental licenses, with regards to support for new ideas, for which the regulations are not there. So regulations always needs to be slightly behind innovation, and that's by design. Because accelerator is behind the brake. If brake goes ahead of accelerator, the vehicle doesn't move. And that's why the right balance is being accomplished here in a lot of markets in Middle East. In terms of capital, we see different Emirates, different countries have created national hubs, national funds. A lot of them have partnered with private institutions to create funds to invest, to create grants. For that. A few of them have done a 100 million fund, a 50 million fund in private collaboration, public collaboration to create those. And that's something unique. In a lot of places globally, capital is such a huge challenge, and it's fully a responsibility of the private sector. Here, we see a lot of government support and sovereign wealth funds who are coming in to support these kind of funds. And that gives that scale, and that gives a confidence to the private sector that it's coming. We are not alone. Talent is another key area where a lot of developments we see. There are entrepreneurship visas, there are grants. A lot of universities are opening up courses for fintech because they know that there is demand for jobs for these. And traditionally, Middle East used to be a more talent magnet, attracting talent from all over the world. Now they're looking more of how do we create our next generation of talent. We need to attract, retain, and generate all three pillars. So once the playbook is out, you will see granular split on how each of the countries are doing on those across these three different ways to handle the talent. The last one is where Mirna, of course, features is as the ecosystem enabler here, along with the different accelerators, incubators, special economic zones which are there to tie the first four pieces together. And that's something which makes it a very unique achievement for a region. We do not see such kind of unity in a lot of regions globally. For example, some of the other parts of the world where there is not one company or one group which is able to operate in so many different markets and unify them in one place. And the last piece we need to look at is in terms of, as the previous speaker talked about, what's next. The way we look at is in the coming next 2 to 3 years, governments here have pushed very hard on blockchain. They have looked at how the companies here can scale up. When do you have the first $100 million, first fintech unicorn? So the way I look at is when will we have a made in MENA fintech unicorn? I would personally put my bet as probably 2020, but I would love to be proven wrong and have it in 2019. And that's just one of the benchmark. Sometimes it's good to have $100 million companies than to have one unicorns. Middle East has a buffet of opportunities. From financial inclusion to wealth management, there is a full spectrum. From insurance for trade and maritime to KYC, AML, and RegTech. So there is something for everyone. So any global company who wants to come, there is something for everyone. And that's something which we will be bringing that out. And we look forward to work with all of you to have that unicorn faster. Thank you.